Ras, good to be here. January 10, 2014. Henry David Thoreau once said, beware all enterprises that require a new set of clothes, where you can look at a character and you can judge them and not listen, or you can listen and then think for yourself. Now, we're going to get into news in a minute here. There's an unscripted source of truth supporting the struggle for international justice. But first, I want to talk about this article right here. The sun's getting ready to come up sometime, and I just really got to cover this. This is on marijuana. I'm trying to stay away from this topic, but this stuff really blows my mind when I read this kind of stuff. So this is a doctor, Dr. Rosenthal. He's at the Phoenix House. He must be running one of these substance abuse places or whatever. So he says 70% of teens in his treatment are from, they're from marijuana. So he's real concerned about this. He don't want to lose that business, for one. And he says he drags you into the article by talking about, how marijuana users are not as violent as alcohol users. I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, you ask the police officer, look, do you want to go into a bar where there's a bar fight and there's a big brawl and break it up by yourself? Or do you want to go into a bar where people are smoking weed and chilling on the couch and arrest them one at a time? They want to arrest them one at a time because, first of all, they're going to get a lot more convictions, a lot more revenue that way. But let's not get into that. Let's just go ahead and speak the truth here. So this is what this guy's saying. Pot damages the heart and lungs, increases in incidence of anxiety, depression, and schizophrenia, and can trigger psychotic episodes. So, the first thing, it's never been proven, the heart and the lungs. I mean, but let's just be reasonable here. Everything has to be used in moderation, If you go out and buy a 12-pack of Red Bulls and chug them all down, yeah, you're going to blow your heart up, okay? But if you go and buy 12 joints and start smoking, you probably get through like 3 of them, maybe, I guess. I've never done it. And then you're probably just going to be like, I don't want to smoke no more. But go ahead and smoke them all because you will be able to. It won't blow your heart out. And it certainly won't blow your heart like that. So, this is just nonsense type stuff. The anxiety, well, capitalism causes anxiety, okay? There's no more greater cause of capitalism or anxiety than capitalism, and all the stresses that go with living in a capitalist society, okay? But if you drink Red Bulls all day, you're probably going to be a little anxious too. If you drink coffee all the time, you're probably going to be a little anxious too. So not only is that just kind of a silly statement, it's just, you can't never prove it. So why would you continue to keep using that as some sort of excuse? We want to help people out. We're going to make this thing illegal because we think it causes anxiety in some people. Are you serious? So then you got depression and schizophrenia. Depression, alcohol causes depression. Let me tell you, cigarettes causes depression. Pornography causes depression. Drinking sodas all the time causes depression. Eating at McDonald's all the time causes... Man, don't even get me started. Schizophrenia, this is one of the most interesting things. I got a brother who's, they label him schizophrenic, and they give him a pill, You take that pill and you go to sleep for hours and hours and hours. That's the key. And if you get used to taking that pill, guess what? You need it. If you don't take it, you ain't going to sleep and you're going to go schizo. So that's the reality check behind that. Marijuana don't cause schizophrenia. People's self-induced anxiety causes it initially, and then once they give you that pill, boom, you're in. Man, he got more things to say. Then he starts talking about adolescence here. He's talking about Colorado. He's saying making it legal, making it recreational is real dangerous. He's going to normalize it. But what have they done with cigarettes and what have they done with the pornography? And nobody wants to say nothing about that. Adolescents are vulnerable, and not just the pot. That's how they are programmed. They make rash and risky choices because their brains aren't fully developed. And then he's basically saying that, you know, marijuana doesn't develop that part of the brain and makes people make more risky choices till they're 25 years old. You know, and I'm asking, does alcohol not make teens make risky choices? Are you serious? You want me to go and tell you a couple stories? Because I have some. Okay? Marijuana is not the problem. This guy's a lunatic. He pulls out a study from 2004 from Maryland, out of all places, that finds that half the teens have been in accidents, had herb in their blood. Well, the herb stays for up to 30 days, and that just basically tells me that those people were just regular teens. 50% of the teens have herb in their blood anyway. Unbelievable. So then he says, barely 40% of adolescents now believe regular use is harmful, down from 80% 2 decades ago. Teen drinking and cigarette smoking have declined, and the abuse of prescription painkillers have fallen off sharply, but teen marijuana use continues to increase. Well, I question that because, I mean, you just had the governor of Vermont get up and talk about the big surge in heroin use in the state, as well as opiates, because most of the time the teens that were using the heroin got started with just general painkillers that are being given out by big pharmaceutical companies everywhere, and providing doctors with incentives to make sure that patients get those painkillers. Yeah. And that's how a lot of these teens get started. So, you know, I question what he's saying here, but at the same time, what's wrong with that? So alcohol and cigarette use and pill use has gone down since teens have begun to use marijuana and accept it more. What's wrong with that? If marijuana is so bad, here you have these things that are clearly much more harmful, but yet if marijuana is still so bad, it's going to balance out, is it not? To some degree. But we know that marijuana is not actually harmful, so actually that's just a positive thing all the way around. So you got to wonder, you just have to wonder, how are they able to use such weak arguments and just put it out there like somebody's going to, you know, believe this? It's fluff. Substance abuse programs at Phoenix House, marijuana 70%. He says right here, he's quoting a guy from the Seattle City Council. Quote, "The only way to sell a lot of pot is to create a lot of potheads." Wasn't that the way you sell a lot of everything? You know, by creating people that are hooked on it. I mean, Warren Buffett, he loved the tobacco industry because he said that, you know, this was a highly profitable and addictive substance. So it was great for investors. A hiccuping, stumbling tosspot with stable Hollywood screw. So now he's saying that, you know, we once demonized alcohol, sort of, by making, in Hollywood movies, people that were drunks look stupid. Well, they do look stupid, and they still make people, you know, look stupid. That was just to get people to laugh. And then he says smoking cigarettes was considered cool, like, you know, back in the day where they had, you know, the cigarette smoking all over the movies and this and that. Well, welcome to the United States of America, folks, because that's propaganda that's put out by the tobacco companies itself. And so bottom line is, this guy right here, he's afraid of losing his business because he knows that once it's legal, he's not going to see it. And the other thing is, he's going to discover that everything he ever thought or was told about it was wrong. And that's really what I think these people are afraid of.